of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Hey, Taylor, where are you, buddy? Taylor?
We're live. Can you hear me?
Yes, but did you lose them?
No, they're here.
Okay, I just don't see them. Okay,
Yeah, well, just because we're switching.
Oh, okay. Wow, we're having a great start here, aren't we, guys? I didn't hear the intro, and you're listening to etc. I didn't hear all that. Did I miss that?
It was there.
I must have missed it. I didn't hear it on my end, but that's okay. That's why I love live podcasting. So today we have Terry and Tiffany McConnell from Eagles Nest. Y'all know them. Y'all have had them on several times, and I really appreciate them coming on. It's going to be a little choppy because the distance and the Wi-Fi and all the above, but y'all can deal with it because they have a lot of good things going on, and you need to hear about them. Particularly in this week, it's been very busy this week over here. How about y'all in Guatemala? How's it been for y'all down there?
We've been busy too. We always stay busy. Today's actually an extra busy day because I may have to run out of here in a bit if there's some adoptive parents showing up. I might say goodbye to one of our kiddos.
And I'm sure that it always is accompanied by tears and whatnot, is it not?
We try to keep it reserved in front of the kiddo because you don't want to scare him or anything. He's grown up here. The little boy that's being adopted has grown up here his entire life. So, and he's about 5.5 now. I think I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Sorry.
No, don't worry about you'll be fine as long as they can hear you, because most people access on the podcast, and so they'll hear you fine. As far as the views, I think since the last time we talked, I added the YouTube channel and all that, so they could see it. Most people access this show in the aftermath, so don't worry about what it looks like. It's what's the content. But before we jump into that content, I want to talk about our sponsors because they make this possible. Of course, you know the first one very well, Daniel Basin across at Burleson. He's in either your board president or he's on the board.
Yes, he's the board vice president for Eagles Nest.
Right. And I know he makes the trips every Christmas with the presents we give and whatnot, the money and whatnot. But he does have several businesses, including CrossFit Burleson. So, it's a good place to go work out on 317 Southwest Wilshire. It's so hot here that, you need a good place to work out indoors, and CrossFit Burleson over at 317 Southwest Wilshire is the best place to do it. Also, Shandy Stoggsdale Realty. She's got several houses on. I'm sure, I don't know how much y'all keep up with local stuff here, but I'm sure you're aware of the real estate issues over here we're having. Burleson's in great demand.
We are aware. We have a house that we rent, and the taxes have gone up tremendously.
Oh boy, is it the house that y'all had before?
No, we sold that one because I didn't want to be renting out a property with a swimming pool, so we sold that one and we bought another one in a different part of Burleson.
And the taxes, well, that's a big issue. As always, I have the mayor coming on a monthly basis now, and that's always the first thing people ask me to ask him is about that. But anyway, Shandy can help you navigate through all of that. She knows where the houses are, and she can help you get the best deals. So talk to Shandy if you're moving into this area. Then Rex Russell over in Cleburne, the Russell Wealth Group. Hit myfinancialbox.com, hit the link, get to know him, have some coffee, help you through the stock markets, which are going up and down. They're really taking a beating. Do y'all keep up with American news very often, or are y'all pretty much, focused on what you're doing?
I mean, we keep up with the highlights, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say we stay busy enough doing what we're doing that we don't really have time to sit and watch the news, but we do stay connected through social media, and so we receive we're usually made aware of news by social media.
Well, it's be careful. Anyway, so thank you, Rex. Also, thank you to Gayla Moores at Southern Gym. When you get back to the States, don't you come like in the fall? Don't you usually do a sabbatical in the fall?
We are coming at the very end of July because our nephew's getting married.
Yeah. Well, so We'll have Terry take you by Southern Gym. It's on the top of the Windmiller building. And Gayla Moore's is member of First Baptist. She owns it. And Robin is working there this summer, and she'll be working there
Oh, nice.
full time. Well, I don't know about how many hours, but she'll be working there exclusively after she leaves the school system, which will be sometime within the next year. So she, you
Gayla
can say,
Gayla did make our son's engagement ring for his wife. So
is that
our
right?
daughter-in-law
Okay.
actually got her ring. That's from him.
Well, how
Yeah,
about that? Doesn't she do
it's
good work?
gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, good. I'll tell
Gorgeous.
Gayla that y'all
Yeah.
said, hey, they're open right now, so I don't listen, but I'll make sure she knows. Also, thank you to Michelle Umphrey over at Hotworks. I'm going to have her on a week from Thursday. We're going to talk about just various things. So we had breakfast yesterday, a little sponsor care, I guess you'd call it, and she had a lot of interesting things to say about what's going on. I think she deserves an audience. So we're going to have Hotworks. It's over on 731, an infrared workout. All these various types of formats, from aerobics to Pilates to you name it, they got it. So you can check that out. Also, Mandy Harden with Creative Concepts by Mandy. She's making me some hats and coffee mugs. So, you got to have your coffee in a Mr. Allard neighborhood cup. And I should have them maybe tomorrow or Friday. Who knows? Concepts of Money. Say it right, dummy. Creative Concepts by Mandy over in 1187. Okay, let's talk to y'all. Well, y'all doing okay over there? How's the weather?
Right now, the weather's great. Rainy season started here in May, and it was a very heavy start to the rainy season. It's been a lot of rain, mudslides, a lot of. In fact, I think Guatemala right now is officially in consider what they call a state of calamity. We would call it a state of emergency because they've had a lot of mudslides and torrential rain, more so than in years past. We've had some fatalities as a result. But within the last 2 days, it has been clear and dry and beautiful. So we're thankful for that.
Yeah. Well, we could use some of that rain. I could tell you it's hot and dry. We're having a terrible drought all over the country, even, but Texas in particular. But that's just the nature of it, isn't it? Anyway, last time we talked, y'all were coming into more or less to the end of the COVID era, so to speak. Now, is COVID still an issue for y'all?
Is it ever not going to be an issue?
Well,
It
to the
seems like
point where
it.
it's going to,
It's
to
still
the point where it's going to keep you from doing what you need to do.
Yeah. I will say now, getting back to the U.S., the U.S. did lift their ban on requiring a negative COVID test for citizens of the U.S. returning from international destinations. So that's been huge. That's a big relief. But you still have to have a negative test or be vaccinated in order to get here to Guatemala. And so they have levels. I think they do this in the US too, or at least at one time they have different levels of green, yellow, orange, and red, indicating the number of cases and the severity of it. And they change that level, I think every 15 days is when they update it. And, just over 2 weeks ago, there were only 2 departments, that's like counties, I guess, in Texas terms, 2 departments that were in red, and ours was one of those 2. And there was even 1 department in green, and the rest were in yellow and orange. As of like 2 or 3 days ago, when they updated it again, there were now 14 departments in red. Ours is still in red. So that means the cases are climbing. The people here are a little bit more risk because of malnourishment, inability to find good health care, lack of education, so maybe not even being aware of some things that we would consider common knowledge, but really it's because we have basic education as far as how things are spread and what to do when you have a fever, and just again, things that I've always thought were common knowledge, but now I realize it's because I have been educated and I feel like I've always known it, but it's truly just a lack of education in some situations. So the people here are at more risk. I think with all of our employees and people we know, there's not a single person that doesn't know somebody died, and most from COVID related sickness and illness here. And most of the people, it's close family members. So yeah, it's
Mm.
it's still here
Yeah.
for us.
Has it impacted Eagle's Nest directly?
It's for 2 years, our groups dropped off significantly, and then several groups that had planned on coming canceled because of the need to get tested to go back into the States more than anything. And then there was a brief time where Guatemala required a vaccine card to get into the country, and that only lasted for about a month. But that caused a lot of cancellations. So, but the summer before COVID, we had 30. How many groups did we have for that year?
We had almost, it was like 32, around 32.
Groups for the year, and then the 2 years during COVID, I bet we had about 5.
Yeah, not even really groups.
weren't
They're most
groups.
like families
Yeah,
that would
families
come.
and small
I
groups.
think in 2021, First Baptist was the only official group that came. The rest were First Baptist in Burleson. The rest were families. And then this year, we so far seen 4 groups and like actual church groups or medical groups. And then next week we have one more coming. So, yeah.
Now, First Baptist came 2 weeks ago. What does a group do when they come to visit y'all?
You want to answer that?
Sure, I'll answer that. Really what the group does kind of depends on the group itself, because we have a lot of things going on here. There's constantly construction projects. There's constantly things that can be done with kids. And so depending on the type of the group kind of determines what the work side of things will be. But a typical day is waking up, eating breakfast, and then spending from breakfast till lunch doing some kind of a project, whether it's painting or heavy lifting, or it could be organizing, an area, or it could be helping out with the babies. If, in the case of elderly folks or people who are unable to do the physical labor, we can usually find something for them to do. Then we go to lunch, and then afternoon, sometimes there's downtime and then time with the kids. Our focus for groups really is we want to take advantage of the opportunity to have the extra hands for help, but we also don't want the group to miss out on the opportunity to connect with our kids and with our employees. So we try to find a good balance of both of those things.
Mm-hmm. You don't take them sightseeing or anything like that?
We do one day out of the week. We have what we call a cultural experience day, but really every day is probably a cultural experience. But yeah,
Well,
we
doubt.
take one day with the group, and we go do something with them, either on this side of the lake or on the other side of the lake, or we have several things to choose from, and we let the group kind of decide what they feel like would be most interesting for them.
Well, you were showing me the views earlier before the show, and they're certainly very scenic. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse today. Very scenic views. Guatemala looks like it's a beautiful country, but a tough one to live in, is what I've gained over our discussions over the years. Is it getting any better? I mean, we hear things from here in America, what's going on in Central America with environmental issues, poverty, crime. Is it getting any better for you?
It depends on where you're at. In Guatemala City, where, it is a little bit, I think. I think the economy here is still a real struggle. There's a lot of poverty. The more rural you get, and that's where we're at, you have people that have been living a certain way for generations. I mean, generations. And even if their home is destroyed in a mudslide, they rebuild in the same kind of way, the same fashion, in the same place. And so you have a lot of, things that would not cause fatalities in developed countries. When you're more rural here, a simple mudslide can cause fatalities, even if it's not even a big one, a small one, because of the way they build here and the lack of money and income. And it's interesting. I don't know how else to describe it. It is improving somewhat, it seems like, but very slowly, especially with social media and smartphones, and people, they're getting glimpses into other lives and other opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just was wondering, I'm sure one of the first questions these groups ask, if they haven't already been there a couple of times, like First has been, is security related issues. And it sounds like Eagles Nest is
Right.
a pretty secure location. Well, I'm sure they ask about situations and whatnot. But Eagles Nest is out
Yeah,
safe,
they
isn't it?
do. Yeah, so where we're located is off the beaten path, or what a lot of people refer to as the cartel highway. I mean, they don't come. There's not a lot of drug trafficking that comes through this area. We're 3 hours from the city. The city is hands down the most dangerous part of Guatemala, and it's not even. I mean, it's dangerous in the sense that Chicago is dangerous. I mean, there's parts of
Yeah.
Chicago that you would never probably want to go into. There's parts of Chicago that would be fine to go into during the day, but you'd probably steer clear of at night. And you probably wouldn't be walking around by yourself in those places. And it's kind of the same in Guatemala City. And we typically stick to the areas where we feel safe and comfortable. But at the same time, you're never 100% safe. That's
Yeah.
just kind of
That's life.
That's
That's
life.
regardless of where you're at.
Right, and
we try to be smart.
well,
We try not to travel at night.
Yeah, right. But they fly into Guatemala City, right? Is that their main? Are there other towns they could fly into?
No.
No, we
No.
fly into Guatemala City, and the area where the airport is and the route we take typically is, I mean, other than the traffic is, in my opinion, the riskiest thing that we deal with in Guatemala, more so than the crime. And that is, there's not crime. It just means that the traffic is the more obvious, glaring problem.
Yeah, well, that's Austin, and half the cities in this country and state. But so they come in, they build relationships. I would imagine it's difficult, maybe after a week of spending time with those kids, to not leave a piece of your heart behind with them.
Yeah, that is. I think that's a normal thing for any type of mission trip. Whenever you go and serve, I think most people's mindset when they leave to go and serve on a mission trip is, I'm going to go and do some good things for these people. I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone and really help some people. And typically, what we hear over and over and over again is that they felt that way, and they got here and felt like that the blessings they were receiving were far greater than anything they were giving. And they do connect with our kids and our staff in this place, and they do fall in love with all of it. And there is a time of kind of debriefing, I think, over the next few weeks when they get back. But our hope is that the connection is strong enough that that they want to stay connected with us through social media and through hopefully sponsoring a child, and hopefully they'll return on another trip the following year, so that we can. It's like a reunion if people come back each year.
Right. And let's put a pin on that, sponsoring a child, because at the other side of the next round of commercials, I want to focus on that, because that really is almost the heart of how y'all get things done. But you come in, and I've done these kind of trips before, not to Guatemala, because I felt like I was really doing a sacrifice many years ago, and I went to Scotland for one of these type of trips. So yeah, I was really suffering for the Lord. But but I think a lot of people, it is a life-changing experience. My daughter went to South Africa many years ago and had the same kind of experience that you're talking about. And so, I hope y'all get all the groups you need, but how do y'all organize these groups, or do they contact you?
So the groups can contact me at my email address. It's on the website. It's info@eaglesnestint.org. And they can just email and let me know that they're interested in coming on a trip. And that's kind of my main job here. I wear a lot of different hats, but my main focus, each day, my first thing I try to take care of is communicating with potential groups, with people that are currently on the calendar, groups that are on here at the moment. That is kind of our focus. But I walk with people through the process, whether it's their first time to be doing something like this, or if it's their 50th time, if they're a veteran. So,
right. So I don't know, these groups, I don't know how they find you. You must have an outreach program of some sort through churches and whatnot. I know that you have the connections with First Baptist here, since y'all are members, but other churches in the area, they must. I just wonder how they get a hold of you, or how it even becomes an option for them, how they think about it, because there's so many opportunities for churches to be involved in things. I just wonder how they get your name in front of them.
I think, you know, over the years, Terry and I have made enough connections there in Burleson, and with him even being on the fire department, sometimes firefighters will reach out, or their wives will let me know. People I went to school with. Social media definitely keeps us connected and keeps us on people's radar. But then you also have Felice. You know, Felice has been here since 2009, and she has her own connections. Her parents were the founders of Eagle's Nest, and I think their original connections were in Kansas. But then Felice, she mostly grew up here in Guatemala as a missionary kid, but while her parents were here. But she has connections in Oregon and in Washington, and it kind of spreads. And I mean, we have connections in North Carolina, churches in North Carolina, so
Wow,
all over, really.
See, because sometimes here in Burleson, we get the impression this is a Burleson-centric organization, but you're telling me it's nationwide, and that's impressive. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
attribute that to y'all, because y'all, how many years you dedicated your life to this? About like last 8, 9 years?
No,
Well-
living here, we're coming up on 5 years living
Right,
here,
but-
which is shocking. to,
Well,
like, think about.
but you were involved before you
Our
lived
first
there.
year was, well, yeah, our first trip here was in 2012, so right around, just over 10 years, actually, so.
Yeah, and on previous shows, you've talked about how you come back and you just had that tugging of the spirit that you need to be elsewhere. And I guess you told the story about how y'all come to the same conclusion separately, almost at the same time, and that's no coincidence. I'm quite sure. But if you were to say right now, physically, what are the most pressing needs do y'all have?
Physically.
Well, like facilities
Us
wise,
or the ministry?
okay. Well, the ministry first, but I'm talking about physically, like
Okay, yeah.
facilities wise, building wise.
Facility wise,
That's it.
we have, we're waiting until we can start getting several groups on the calendar back to back to back, because we'd still want to do the project of enclosed property. We want to secure the property with fence and wall, and that's going to take a lot of help carrying block and sand and rock and cement to different parts of the property, and it's a steep hill. We're on top of a little outcrop or outlook, and so the property line is further down, and the guys doing the building of the wall and fence, there's 5 of them, and so we need the help of the teams to carry the material so they can build it. So I'm hoping by sometime at the end of this year or next year we can start that project, but honestly it's probably going to be at least a 2 to 3 year project to get the whole thing done. And the reason we need to do it is because, number one, this area is growing rapidly, and we want to make sure and show where our property lines are. Number two, there is a stray dog problem here like you would not believe. There's no type of animal control, and the dogs are multiplying quickly, and because we have kids on property and because we have guests coming here, we want to keep anything from potentially happening in that regard. We also have neighbors that like to come onto the property and you collect firewood. They use firewood still for cooking and for heating, which is fine with us, but sometimes they start cutting trees, and because we're on top of a mountain, we kind of need those trees to stay in place because the roots are pretty important to keeping the dirt held together.
Yeah,
So
I would imagine.
those are the 3 reasons we.
Yeah. You don't want to have mudslides of your own.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about do you have enough kitchenware, kitchen space, kitchen gear, that kind of stuff?
Every year, well, just this past Christmas time, we had a fundraiser to we needed to replace a lot of appliances, washers,
appliances.
dryers, refrigerators. They were all kind of reaching into their life at the same time. That's a constant thing, but we have kind of replaced several appliances recently. We still have a few more to go as far as stove and refrigerator, but I think we addressed the bigger part of that need already. And I'll throw this in too. The Burleson Rotary Club gave us a donation a little over a year and a half ago to replace all of our mattresses in our camp. We have cabins that we rent out to help raise money for the ministry also. And we just finished making the last purchase of those mattresses, and we're going to have enough money left over to start replacing mattresses in the children's home as well, which it's time. They've been well worn and well used. So we're still very thankful to the Burleson Rotary for that. And we need to send them some pictures too of our most recent updates on that.
Well, I'm
When
going to
he said
run.
we, he means
Tiffany.
to send pictures.
Tiffany is the social media
He was looking
head,
at
right?
his
Yeah,
right here.
that's funny. I see nothing's changed. Y'all have always been this cute couple, doggone you. Just, Terry, you're making the rest of us look bad. But anyway, I'm going to run through the second round of ads, and then we want to talk about the children themselves and what they need and how we can help.
Okay.
So thank you to Otto at Our Place. I was telling him about this show a couple of days ago. I was there at Our Place, and he's very enthusiastic. He loves these kind of shows. I'm sure when y'all are in town, you drop by. Who doesn't go to Our Place? My goodness. So thank you, Otto. Thank you to Chris Notaboom over at Wild Cigar. I was just there Friday with a friend. It's a great place to go. Have a cigar. I bet Tiffany doesn't smoke cigars. Terry, do you smoke cigars?
I don't. The older I got, the sicker they made me.
Well,
feel,
here's
so
the
I don't smoke them anymore.
That's not good for my advertising, dadgummit. But anyway, no, if they have tobacconists there, they could tell you what would help you the best, because I don't know anything about tobacco, but they do. So, and you have a drink, whatever you want. So Wild Cigars.
I'll check them out.
Check them out. You betcha. It's over at the Standard. Also, thank you to Antonio Basalo at Proactive Payment Solutions. Thank you for your sponsorship, of course, at proactivepaymentsolution.com. If you're looking for point of sales operations and how to handle your business better online, if you're starting a business, they'll help you with the best rates, best collection rates, and things of that nature. So give them a holler if you're looking to upgrade your business. And lastly, Local Life at Tiffany Griffin. She has her magazine coming out next week, and she'll be on the show probably about mid-July. And it's always a great show. LocalLifeTX.com if you want to see what's going on immediately. Also, she's having the 4th of July event. So the 4th of July event is next week, obviously, over at the Standard. So check out the deal on her page, hit the QR code, check out her Facebook page, and you can find out about tickets and times and things of that nature. So it's always a great time. I was there last year, and it's well worth it. Okay, now, as far as the sponsorship of children, that's the heart of taking care of these kids, is it not? I mean, I'm sure people donate lump sums, but really what y'all need is somebody, kind of a guaranteed, if you will, source of financial support for each child. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. You make a good point. The lump sum donations, are very beneficial, and they always seem to come in just at the right time when they're most needed. But those monthly sponsorships of kids are very helpful because it helps us with our budget and knowing exactly how much we can expect to be coming in for the month. It's just very helpful, the monthly sponsorship. In addition, the groups coming are very helpful in helping pay the bills.
Yeah, I bet. But so does each child have one, or is there a time you may have to divide the money out amongst the children? Because that to me, that would be kind of sad. I'd like to think that every child that's in your care has a patron of some sort.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, the kids that don't have sponsors it's typically because they arrived during COVID. People usually sponsor kids that they've connected with when they've come here. That's not always the case. I mean, there are people that have never been here and sponsor. You, for example, you sponsor. So, but we don't. The sponsorships go into a general fund. So there's, if there's a kid that has essentially lived here their entire life, because we do have those, our old, let's see, we have two 15-year-old, almost 15-year-old boys that have been here since they were babies. They have a lot of sponsors because they've met a lot of people over the years, but they, at the end of the day, don't get a bigger portion of food than the kids
Right.
that don't have sponsors.
Right.
It all goes into a fund. 100% of the income that we receive from donations, the care of the kids, food, clothing, medical needs if necessary. We do have a separate medical fund, but
salaries.
it is general, yep. And then salaries of our staff, our full-time staff to take care of the kids. We have almost 40 kids right now, so it requires a lot of hands on deck to help us out with that. And our sponsorships have changed just a little bit. So when you sponsor a kid, you're going to get an update when something specific happens with that kiddo. Like if there's a court hearing or and something changes in the court hearing, or if something happens at school. But we've kind of got to where we're doing more general updates on a more regular basis because doing those sponsor updates 3-4 times a year with our Wi-Fi situation has proven to be pretty challenging, and it's easy to give up. And then the next thing you know, nobody's gotten an update. So we've been sending out a little bit more consistent general updates on everybody, and then more specifically reaching out when there's something going on with the kid that you sponsor.
Well, we have the two that we sponsor on the refrigerator, pictures on the refrigerator like everybody else does. And, and we look at them and think, we hope that they're well. We're just doing this long distance, of course, but we hope that they're well. But, it is tough because I'm sure you see some pretty tough stories. And I think that'd be one of the hardest parts of the job.
It is in a lot of ways. It is. But at the same time, I think one of the hardest parts would be hearing that and not feeling like you could do anything to participate, to help, to nurture, to comfort. And the great thing for me, at least, being here, feet on the ground, full time, is that I get to be a part of their lives and a part of that process of healing, whether it's just showing them what healthy affection and healthy love looks like, even if it's just a healthy relationship between the two of us that they're seeing. You get to be a part of the story, and for me, that helps a lot.
I'll speak to that too. When the first year we were here, I agree, it was definitely the hardest part of feeling like there were decisions being made at the municipal or the court level that we had no control over. We disagreed with it. We thought, you're taking them out of a good situation that's here, putting them in a bad situation. But over time, we just kind of have had to learn to accept that we don't have the control that we would like to have over everything, and we just have to trust God that these kids are going to still be loved, but in the meantime, take advantage of every opportunity we have while they're here to plant seeds of the gospel and to love them well, to let them see what healthy parental love is supposed to look like, because maybe they've never received it in their own home, so that hopefully we can help break the cycle of some of the stuff that's going on as they grow up into adulthood.
Is 40 a big number for y'all?
40 is that's getting close to where we want to be. 50 is the highest we can go without making some major changes. 40 is comfortable but busy for us.
But even 50, we have to make some changes. We'd have to hire more staff.
Right.
Right now, 40 is pretty comfortable. Once you start getting too big, we lose that sense of connection with all the kids, and we don't want it to feel, even though it is an institution, we do our best to create an environment that feels more like a home. The kids, once they've been potty trained, the girls go to a girls' home and the boys go to a boys' home, and there are house parents there, a mom and a dad. They're Guatemalan couple, and it's not just those two. They also have tias, which we call them tias, that help out and assist them, so they can get more of a home environment and a home feel.
So, how these kids come to you? We talked about this on previous shows. They come from the state. Do they come from do you just have people say, I have a child that I can't take care of. Can you take that child from me? Does that ever happen, or is there some other kind of process?
I mean, the typical process is that the government brings them to us. It would be our version of Yes.
Mhm.
Kids, there are even situations where kids are just little babies are dropped off at hospitals and fire stations, same kind of thing in the US. The kids are being rescued from an abusive or neglectful situation, and so the government is bringing them to us. We have had, on very few occasions, we've had kids that have been here in the past and run away from home and come back here. And then before we got here, I was told of a time when there was a situation where somebody did give up their child. Now we have to report that to the government so that they're, we have to follow a certain protocol so that they're officially in the system and they have a case file and everything.
You don't ever have to turn kids away, though, do you? I mean, the government doesn't make you do that, do they?
There are times, unfortunately, that we do have to turn kids away if we don't have enough resources, if we don't have enough funding, if we don't have the staff to take care of them. We always, as much as we want to say yes to every single kid, we always have to be mindful of our limits and our abilities, because if we aren't, then we end up not serving the kids who are here well.
Right.
And we put them in situations where they're being exposed to things that we can't protect them from. There are homes, there aren't enough, but there are homes out there and resources out here, in Guatemala. Very few, but they are there for example, for children that are older in age, adolescents. Because with that, you have some more profound issues. Our profile technically is 0 months so newborns on up to 6 years old. We can take kids in, and we do take kids in that are outside of our official profile. We have special needs kids. I think about 8 special needs kids, some severely, that will need care 24/7 for the rest of their lives, and then others it's a mild I'm forgetting the word. Anyway, but then we sometimes also take in sibling groups, and if we take in a sibling group, then there might be the couple of kids in our age profile, but then a couple of them are outside of that age profile. So it is a case by case basis. We don't get any funds from the government here. We're funded completely by private support. I would say 99.9% of it being from the U.S., if not 100% of it from the U.S.
Well, that's on us if we need to step up our game a little bit, because we don't need to let children go with what they need, because here in the United States we have a much more of a structured social welfare system than I bet Guatemala does, and so we need to sponsor these children. They need it now. Is it still about $50, or is the needs of the economy changed how much it's cost to take care of these kids?
Yeah, inflation's affecting us too. Gas prices have gone up. Food prices have skyrocketed here. So our budget, our monthly budget is much higher. As far as the giving and the sponsorship, we recommend starting around $33, and it goes up from there. A fully sponsored kid is around $600 a month. So that's possible for one to do. So usually it takes several sponsors to fully sponsor kids.
Yeah.
So we just always tell people to give and sponsor at a level that you feel led at giving. You can choose a variable amount, or you can choose one of our suggested amounts.
Well, in my case, I was able to not so much choose the kid, but know that my money was going directly towards a kid. Of course, sweet little Dulce, I'm sure, is doing wonderfully, but I have 2 or 3 others since then. And I know that when I donate on a monthly basis, whatever I'm donating goes primarily to those 2 kids. And I think that really does, when you personalize it like that, it does make a difference, as opposed to, here, I'm giving X amount of money. I know it's needed. It's great. It's useful. But personalized like that, I think it means just that much more, because, you see what you feel like anyway. When you see their kids' pictures, that you're materially contributing to the quality of their life. And that's immeasurably more important, I think. So what is your suggested amount? You said 33, but is $50 a month usually a good round number to deal with? Mm. Are y'all still with us? Y'all are frozen. Terry has got this great look on his face. He's frozen. At least Tiffany has a nice smile on her face. Hey, Taylor, have they been frozen?
Looks like they just dropped off, so maybe they lost Wi-Fi, but I'm sure they'll try to reconnect if they can.
Okay, well, I'll do my stalling bit while you try to get them back on. But it's funny because Terry's face was just beautiful. Here's the thing about Eagle's Nest is that they're dealing with a great deal of issues that, for the most part, in the United States, we may deal with, but not at as strong a degree as they do. And we have the financial and physical wherewithal to take care of our kids as well. And those two, the McConnells and those that work with them, are doing God's work. Earlier today, I had a show that talked about pro-life. This is pro-life, okay? Pro-life is, and always, when you try to benefit the life of a child, that's pro-life. And these people have really dedicated their lives to such a thing. And Daniel Baisden is on the board. He'll tell you all about the things they do and how it's affected him and Amber, how it's affected their lives for the good. I could promise you one of the best things you'll ever do for yourself and maybe your family is to donate or sponsor a kid at Eagle's Nest, because it may not seem like a lot of money. You may not have a lot of money. Who does? Not many of us have a lot of money, and the needs are great all over the place. But this is one that you can also consider. How's it going? Have you gotten it back yet, Taylor?
They haven't tried to join back yet. So
Okay.
we'll wait on them and see.
Well, give them a minute. They may not even know that they're off the air, to tell you the truth. But that's part, the Wi-Fi they have out in the mountains isn't particularly good. This has happened to us before with them, and it's okay. I listen to sports talk radio, and this happens to them a lot too. And I'm thinking, hey, if it happens to them, it could happen to me. We'll give them a couple more minutes, and then I'm emailing them and say, hey, you're off the air. Hey, retry. See if they'll get that in time. Who knows? But anyway, another example, they're associated by, friendship and friend and whatnot with Megan Swearingen, and over at the Next Step Women's Center, it's very similar. Helping children. We got so many of these groups around this area, and I'm really pleased to live in an area where they produce people like the McConnells, who are willing to just really make that sacrifice. I'm proud to know them. I'm proud to know a lot of these people that work on these various other groups, Free Inspire and Mention Next Step and Children Advocacy and Center for ASD. I've been very honored that they've been guests on my show, and I feel like I come away from these things just kind of humbled by the fact that how much these people sacrifice for a greater good. And so, and sometimes Burleson gets caught up in some of these nitwit arguments on Facebook and whatnot. We need to understand that 98% of the people here care about what's going on, not just with their city, but the citizens within it, and then the citizens of the world. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. Taylor, I guess let's go ahead and run through the sponsors real quick. And if they come back on, we could finish the show, but just run through the sponsors real quickly here. Thank you, Daniel Cross at Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Hope you're doing well. I hope you catch this show because I know this is a group that's very close to your heart. So look at CrossFitBurleson.com and check out their training programs and membership plans and things of that nature. Thank you, Shandy. I know this is another group that you've been real interested in. Also check out our 817life.com page and you can see what's going on in this area. But Shandy knows where the real estate is. So if you're moving into this area, you need to talk to her because she can help you get attached to real estate before it even comes on the market. Thank you to Rex. I know he also was very excited when I told him we were doing this. He loves these kind of shows. Rex Russell at the Russell Wealth Group. Hit myfinancialbox.com. Get to know him. have a little coffee. He can help you through this market turmoil that we're going through. Also, thank you to Gala. Like Eagles Nest mentioned, Terry and Tiffany mentioned, Gala did their son's or their daughter-in-law's wedding ring, and it's beautiful, of course. And so go ahead, take out Southern Gym over on top of the Windmiller building. Say hey to Robin while you're there. Also, thank you to Hotworks and Michelle. Like I said, I'm going to have her on next week, and we're just going to talk about what's on her mind, because we had a nice conversation yesterday, and she, like so many of us, are concerned about what's going on, and so we're just going to visit. And it's a good place to do it in Mr. Allard's neighborhood. So Hotworks on 731 over by the theater and Kroger's. Also, thank you to Mandy at Creative Concepts. I look forward to seeing the swag. Hopefully, you'll be tomorrow. I hope to see y'all at you and Michelle and Caleb, all three of y'all at the BNI meeting tomorrow. So Creative Concepts by Mandy. Check out the webpage. If you're looking for promotional items like hats, pins, shirts, cups, whatever, she got the whole thing. Thank you to Otto, of course, at our place. I just ate there Monday. I'll probably eat there again pretty soon. I think I got something scheduled later this week. It's the place to do business, and our place is a good hometown feel to it. So thank you, Otto, for everything you do for us. Thank you to Chris. I was over there Friday with a friend, and he was very impressed. So was I. You have a tobacconist to help you select a decent smoke. They have a good selection at the bar, and so it's a good place to do business in the afternoon even. Also, thank you to Antonio, Proactive Payment Solutions at proactivepaymentsolution.com. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate your story. And so if you're looking to start a business or you upgrade your business online, he's the one to talk to and help you with the payments plans. And lastly, Tiffany Griffin over at the Local Life magazine. It'll be out next week, localftxs.com. I remind you about the 4th of July celebration. Check out that page. There's a QR code. Her Facebook page has a QR code. Hit the link and see what's involved. It's going to be lots of good stuff going on. American Railway is going to be there, and a few other local places are going to be providing refreshments of various kinds. And so Local Life magazine will hook you up with that. Also, they're doing their latest issue is going to be about hometown heroes, so we hope you're able to nominate somebody for that as well. You can find that on the page. Are they back?
They're back.
Yeah, they're back. Okay, I already did. Okay, you got the last.
Hear you.
Well, you will in a minute. Can you not hear? Yeah, you'll hear us. All right. Well, I just did the ad, so we're all good. You got the rest of the next few minutes. Okay. Back to the sponsorship of kids. I just really had to hit that because while we were off the air, I was talking about not just the need for it, but also the personal benefit. I mean, it really touches my heart to know that some child that I may never know this side of heaven is going to have a small piece of making their life just a little bit better. It's sobering to me. I think sometimes as Americans, we forget our blessings. I bet when you come back to the United States, it's probably just as big a culture shock as when you left the United States.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. To that end, I'll just say a word about that. In the Christian community, there's debate all the time whether short-term missions are a good thing or a bad thing, and our opinion is that it's like anything else. It's mixed. There's a lot of great things that come from short-term missions, and there's some negatives that come with it. I mean, but we would not be here full-time if we had never come on a short-term trip. So I'm a huge advocate for people making the trip to come out here, and I think the reason why is because so many people grow up and live in the United States, and they have a narrow view of what being poor looks like. They have a narrow view of what suffering looks like. And then the thing we hear over and over and over again is when people come out here and they see kids, dirty kids playing in the street in our community, or as we drive here, kicking a soccer ball made out of trash bags and tape, and they're laughing and playing and having a good time. And then we think to how seemingly unhappy it seems like a lot of people are in the United States. In the U.S., we have so much to be thankful for, but yet we don't even realize how much we have because we have nothing to contrast it with as far as having seen real poverty in other parts of the world.
Yeah. Well, you're coming in a whole lot better now than you were earlier. I guess your Wi-Fi got better. I don't know, but no, I've thought that. I've talked to several people. Many people that come back from trips and they're just like, I know their attitude has been changed. I mean, and they look at the United States in a different way, maybe less critically in some ways because they feel more blessed. But you go there, some of these countries, and see what's going on. It's like, my gosh, what am I complaining about? Oh, my Wi-Fi isn't working very well today. I bet most of these kids don't even have Wi-Fi or anything like it. I know that Guatemala is not. I'm sure Guatemala City is quite modern. They probably got everything that we have here, or mostly anyway. But still, we as a country, I think we focus so much on us and our needs that we forget just how much God has blessed this country. Sometimes I wonder why, why us, but there you are. But to much is given, much is expected.
Yeah, and I think to your point, giving a little bit, knowing that you are impacting the life of somebody and helping make it better, that's an important thing. And I really think that the more that mindset catches on, the more good America really can do across the world. I mean, the thing that we have more than any other country really is our financial resources. And even people in the States who think they have no resources, when you consider how much we are comfortable paying for a cup of coffee, or, I mean, I don't want to get sappy on you and do
You're right.
the old commercials, but there's a lot of truth to it. If you buy a $5 cup of coffee 5 days a week, I mean, $25 a week that you're spending just on coffee. And I'm not saying cut out coffee, but everybody has something that they could do, whether it's helping out locally or internationally. But back to the other point, if you ever get a chance to go on a foreign mission trip, I highly encourage it, whether it's in Guatemala or Haiti or Africa or Europe or Asia. Just go somewhere and just get out of your own comfort zone and your own context so that you can really kind of start seeing that these things that you've been hearing, like we hear about problems on the news, but we're hearing an editorialized version of everything we hear on the news. You're not getting to see it firsthand.
Well, you ain't missing much these days. I mean, it's been a hot summer in more ways than one, but that's just the way life is. Well, since I've already done the commercials, I'm going to let y'all have the last word and tell us what you would like us, where to send any of these donations, website addresses. I know there's a donate button because I've used it. What are particular needs y'all are raising money for? I know that for a while you were raising money for a van. So just, you have the floor.
You start.
Okay, so if you want to learn more about Eagle's Nest and the ministry here and what we're doing, you can go to the website. It is www.eaglesnestint.org. And if you want to give and you want to sponsor a kid, then if you go to the website, there's a banner at the top that says donate. You just click on the donate banner and it'll take you to our secure website for setting up that donation. Hopefully a recurring donation if you can, a monthly sponsorship. And you can even choose which kiddo you want to sponsor if that's important to you. And then as far as what we're doing here, we would love to get people out here and getting on the schedule. We're starting to schedule for next summer, but it's still wide open. So if somebody is wanting to bring a group of people out here, or it's just some people from your church or your neighborhood even, or a life group, we are scheduling that right now for next summer, really anytime next year or later into this year. But just reach out to me. My email is also on the website. If you click on the Contact Us tab up on the website, then you will be sent directly to me. So.
Oh. Okay.
And I'll say we are going to be in Burleson end of July and the first couple weeks in August. So we're always available to meet with people. Anybody has questions or wants to chat and sit down, we're always happy to do that. We're able to speak. If anybody has an area they want us to speak at and talk more about it, we're always available for those kind of things. And then I'm hoping to be able to make it back for the 30-year class reunion from BHS from class of 1993, which will be sometime in the fall or the spring. So
class of 93, boy, that was a live wire bunch. But anyway, well, if you're at church on Sunday, I know you go visit churches to spread your message. Come by the Sunday school class upstairs. Dan and I will be glad to give you whatever time y'all need. I appreciate y'all showing up. I mean, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to use this forum in such a positive way. It always makes me feel better. So, are you going to be all right? You going to take care of yourselves down there?
I think so. Since you're wrapping up, if you want me
Mhm.
to, I can end our screen is better. I can end it with a good view
Okay.
of the lake if you'd
Oh,
like.
sure.
And the volcanoes out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what you get. I'm trying to turn it the right way. There you
Yeah,
go.
it looks good.
There you go.
That's the view you'll get if you go down
That's
there.
the view you get. It's much
Sit-
better than my face and Terry's face. Love you, baby.
I don't know about that, but no, that's beautiful. It
Yep.
really is.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I bet in the morning it really is nice.
Exactly.
All righty. Well, thanks for y'all, and doing well. Thank you, Taylor, for scrambling around, getting all the pickups. I mean,
As always.
it's the reception was much better the second time. I don't know. Who knows?
I tethered to my phone. We're not using Wi-Fi. We're using my data.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I'll
We
let
lost
you
the
go then.
Wi-Fi.
All right. Well, I'll let you get off then if it's costing you data. So thanks, y'all, and y'all take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.